Hey guys, my name is Delia and welcome to the Kabukicho Sherlock review that no one has done before, hopefully. So, Kabukicho Sherlock is a mystery comedy anime that started airing during the 2019 fall anime season about, you got it, Sherlock Holmes in a modern Japanese setting. I've been wanting to talk about this anime for a long time. Well, not really a long time since this anime just ended like last month. Because it doesn't seem like a lot of people are talking about this anime during its run, or more so after its end. Now, I'm trying to keep this review as spoiler friendly as possible, so there will be my overall thoughts of the anime, spoiler free. But on the later part of the video, I'm gonna be giving you my deeper thoughts, which is of course full of spoilers. As you may know, this is my first review video, so any thoughts will be appreciated regarding this format. But for now, let's get to the video. The story starts with a certain doctor named John Watson who found himself wandering in Kabukicho, a city of chaos. But it's not without intentions he is in that wretched place. Not long ago, he did an autopsy on this certain girl and found a mysterious device which he later on discovered to be a transmitter. After he reported it back to his boss at work, he feels like someone is trying to put his life in danger. With the advice of a Yakuza boss, he goes to find Sherlock Holmes. It turns out Sherlock is one of the 6 private detectives in the Pipe Cat Bar. They work for fees in various ranks from 1 million yen for a detective to 1 million yen plus expenses to all participating detectives. But before he can get the detective to work on his case, he has to be his housekeeper and assistant in the hijinks of mysteries as private detectives in the Pipe Cat Bar. The mysteries in each episode have some kind of connections or references to the novel series. Like the first episode is a reference to the study in Scarlet, and the second episode is a reference to the red-headed link and a little bit of the speckled band. This anime is divided into 2 cores of 24 episodes in total. The first core of the series covers the Jack the Ripper case, and the second is about a mysterious coded suicide. To be honest, the first core feels slow-paced and more centered around the comedy side of this anime's tags. They also tackle with each character's backstory, which is understandable, but they centered less on the Jack the Ripper case, at least not until the last episodes of the 12-episode core. For several people, especially the people that watch this anime weekly, it gets pretty dragged. Once they went back on track, the pace is restored and it's pretty well wrapped. Now for the second core, it gets even more serious. They seem to forget the comedy tag this time around and tackles a more psychological and philosophical theme of Sherlock and the main villain. It's pretty nice, so it's not all about murder mysteries. But maybe that could also be a problem if you just want the story to focus on mystery solving. Because, let me tell you, that's gonna be sidelined for the more psychological impact. And during half of the core, I feel like the pacing is all jacked up. It's fast, really fast even, that I'm afraid they didn't end this anime on a higher note. The ending is pretty good and kinda wraps up pretty nicely, but the mood whiplash is still there. I'm gonna cover this further in the spoiler section of this video. So story-wise it's pretty interesting, but this anime suffers from pacing. Whether it's too fast or too slow, they may have wrapped up the course pretty nicely, but everything in between is a mess. It's like they wasted so much time in the first core that they just realized they have run out of time and speed up story in the second core. The anime takes place in Kabukicho, or to be exact, the Shinjuku East Side, where the East and the West are polar opposites. The West lives in luxury while the East lives in chaos. This concept is used quite often as motivations for the characters. Now the setting of this anime is very nice. The jazzy style music fits pretty well to the red light district-esque environment that we get. In the very first episode, you already got a feeling of the city being a city of dark looming in the nights, with cabarets, gangs, casinos, thieves, etc. It gives sort of a classic hard-boiled detective setting, don't you think? They also scattered some Sherlock Holmes references, like the one elephant in the room, 221st Avenue, Kabukicho, as the place where the detective row house and the pipe cat bar at, but also more subtle things like a store called Gary Depps, a pretty nice addition. The art style seems to be like Steins Gate or any other darker theme animes. Looks mature. Honestly, I don't know how to describe it, but I like it. And the animation is good enough. I mean, this is not a very action-heavy anime. Although there are several errors here and there, but hey, almost all anime has that, right? Some characters are based on the canon novels, but he put a little spin on each and every one of them. Here we still have Sherlock Holmes as the detective genius he is, but he solves his mystery through rakugo, a Japanese storytelling style done by one person. He's more of a jerk here though, especially to Watson, but gets better over time with the latter's help. And then there's Watson. He still acts as the traditional Watson, a faithful companion and chronicler, sorta. But they amped up his gullibility and his role as the heart towards Sherlock's brain. To be honest, this Watson seems to be too naive. I mean, coupled with Sherlock's harsh behavior towards him, in my opinion, I just don't see the dynamics between them. I know towards the end, Holmes changes and be nicer towards him, but the dynamics between them still feels forced and in your face, which is kinda sad. Next, there's Mrs. Hudson, the very nice, flashy, and stylish housekeeper of the row house and the pipe cat bar. Mrs. Hudson is the most interesting interpretation of a canon character by far. I mean, just look at that. Mrs. Hudson also acts as the mission control person in every case in which a haiku is always recited at the end. And next, we have Mary. In this anime, she is one of the pipe cat detectives. Now, I really wish I could ship her with Watson. The anime does sort of ship tease them from time to time, but honestly, I don't know about their ages. One of them might go to jail. And even though they are in the same age, she's cunning and dare I say manipulative, and mixing that with Watson's gullibility, not very good in my opinion. Although in later episodes she softens up, but towards the end, I don't know. Just my opinion though. Now, this time Mary is not alone. She's with her sister Lucy. Yes, you heard me right. Her sister. To be honest, I find her a better character, and her addition to the cast of canon characters doesn't feel bloated at all, because she is a very sweet character who cares about her sister and friends. Next, we have Lestrade, still an inspector asking help from the pipe cat detectives from time to time, and Mycroft is still Sherlock's brother, who has a considerable position in being the mayor's secretary, but is not part of the Diogenes Club and has something else. Spoiler though. Now speaking of mayor, the mayor's name is Sebastian Moran, and he looks like a certain someone. And now, everyone who has read the novels or watched the movies or series must know who this guy is. A villainous figure in the center of Britain's criminal web, he's none other than Moriarty. In other adaptations, he's a respectable professor, an amicable foe to Holmes. But in this anime, he's this adorable little boy who's friends with Sherlock. He still remains his geniusness though, but as a high school student. And then we also have the Kabukicho irregulars. They're still thieving kids who still aid Sherlock in mystery solving, with Moriarty being their leader. And then we have Irene Adler. Too bad she's not that much of a main character, but she's still a clever woman that she was in the novel, and proves to be the best girl in the later episodes. Of course, she gets shifted with Sherlock as in other adaptations. And they also add several characters that doesn't appear in the canons other than Lucy, like Kyogoku, the germaphobe detective longing for a better life in the West someday, Kobayashi, the ex-gang member turned to detective, and Michelle Belmont, an ex-police officer. I really like the liberties they take in changing the characters from the canon novels. As a Sherlockian, being a fan of a piece of media that gets adapted so often, It's very nice to see different interpretations from each and every adaptations. Like so far, I enjoyed the RDJ Sherlock Holmes, the Benedict Cumberbatch version, the Jeremy Brent version, and the Vasily Livanov version. They're all different, but that's what makes all of them interesting. This anime did just that, putting spices here and there to make it not like any other. Although because of the pacing I mentioned earlier, some characters which has potentials to partake more in the story would later be pushed away. Like for example the other detectives apart from Sherlock, they don't get much shine, especially in solving mysteries apart from their backstory episodes. And now, for the full of spoilers and additional notes. You can skip to this part right here if you haven't watched the anime yet. Now, let's start. And this is basically a run. So, 1. I don't really like how they made Moriarty a psychopath. I mean, I know they made him more of a sociopath at the end for author saving throw, but it still stands. Of course, being a character named after another character known for being the antagonist all the time, people wouldn't be surprised of his evil reveal. But I think they can do it better. He's evil, but his reasonings made no sense and pulled off all the sympathy to him emotion-wise. He's just another style bad guy if he wasn't so adorable. Next, the Moriarty-Holmes-Watson dynamics. Now, while I like the way they handle the Moriarty-Holmes relationship in this anime, I think they are unique compared to the other adaptations, big bodies and all. The revelation that Moriarty is also the Watson or Alex for Holmes is rather redundant. I mean, if that's the case, then I'll choose Moriarty over Watson, or just mesh them together as one character. Even though I like Watson as a character, he seems rather useless now compared to the more intriguing Moriarty if all his purpose is to be the voice of reason and heart to Holmes. Moriarty will have done the same too. Well, maybe the heart Moriarty can't do, but the end result is that both characters show Sherlock that the world isn't bad and that humans' heart and feelings are interesting. Now, other than being naive and shows human tenderness, Watson hasn't done anything worthwhile to the story, which is kinda sad. It is usually more like being told, not being shown. Next, how they play the I'm actually not dead trope to death. No pun intended. Then it's not fun anymore. Let's do a count. They did one with Irene, and then one with Watson, and almost a tease one with Moriarty. Worst of all, they only brush off the Watson one, and they did it again with Moriarty at the end. In my opinion, this kinda interferes with the hype of the ending where it was meant to be another cliffhanger. So yeah, this anime has its upside, has its downside, but definitely did summer love.
The concept is interesting. I mean, Sherlock Holmes in a modern Japanese setting, solving mysteries in the form of rakugo? You don't see those every day. Plus, with a cast full of interesting spin to the characters, this is one Sherlock Holmes adaptation that you'd want to see for a fresh look.
Check this anime out if you like Sherlock Holmes or mystery anime. See you next video!